People, we saying welcome back, episode 3. Hope you had a nice week, hope you had a good, productive time, hope you got loads of shit done. Today's topic is going to be very light subjects, very quick, nothing too rigorous, nothing too thought-provoking, but yeah, without further delay, let's just jump right into it. Not gonna lie, I think like a couple of weeks ago, I was scrolling through some articles online, and there was this one, right, where I actually stopped to like read it, just because the title was interesting enough, and even after I read the article, I was still thinking, what would actually happen? Now, the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole topic of this article was after Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, who is the strongest on the One Piece Straw Hat crew? It got me thinking, right? Because after that, there's only two main contenders, right? Brook and Jinbe. Don't get me wrong, Chopper's hard. When you give him time, Chopper is hard. When he chomps down on those pills, he is hard. He's definitely like the fourth. But then again, you have Robin. So I might have to do part 2, Robin versus Chopper. But like today's main focus is Brook versus Jinbe. Because I've seen some arguments for Brook, I've seen some arguments for Jinbe. But what I've done is I've gone through some facts about each. And hopefully we can come up with, well, hopefully when I tell you who I think would win, you'll see my point of view. If not, maybe you could argue, tell me why this is wrong, and yeah, change my opinion basically. I'm not gonna lie, I would watch this fight just animated. This is animated, it would be a cool fight. But we're gonna start off with Brook. I call him Brooks, but his real name is just Brook. But yeah, he is 90 years old, so I think he's the oldest on the crew. Yeah, he's the oldest on the crew. And I'm not going to do backstory. I'm not going to do personality as such. I'm just going to focus on fighting. What can they do when they hit that ring? What can they do? The way I visualizing this is they never came across each other, and it was equal footing. Maybe they're on some type of island, and they just decided, you know what, you ain't from these ends, let's get into it. That's how I'm visualizing this. So no one has the upper hand, no one has an advantage. This is just straight, I saw you, you saw me, it's equal footing, let's go. So the thing with Brook is, he is, depending on who he's fighting, he usually sort of like fights comically, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't fight serious mode. Like when you go against someone like Zoro or Sanji, they're serious from the jump. Whereas Brook, you might bust a few jokes, play some music, and then you get shit. But Brook only goes serious depending on who he's fighting. So like for example, when he was fighting Big Mom, he was serious from the jump because, you know, Big Mom is a Yonko, so he knows that he's not gonna take the mick of her, otherwise he would die. And I think for this fight with Jinbe, he might start off comically, joking around, but then when he realizes how strong he is, he's gonna get serious real quick. And another thing to remember is the fact that he's been basically around since Roger, and if you remember that episode when they covered what was it like during Roger's time, it was just constantly fighting. Constant fighting. And so, because of the situation that he was in, he learned how to defend himself quite quickly. And he is quite experienced in fighting because of the background in Roger's time. Remember, he and one other person was captain of his crew, so you could make the argument he is, you know, very tactical in that sense. And not only that, but he, during his fight on Dressrosa, he, what's the word for? He basically baited that woman, the one that painted everyone and Just bare stupidness. He baited her and defeated her. So that speaks to his tactical mind as well. He doesn't display any haki, but when it was him when Big Mom came down and she did her haki, the Conqueror's one, he withstood it while I was passed out. So could make the argument he has the potential to learn haki, and not maybe Conquerors, but definitely like just strong road in general. His Devil Fruit, while useless when you're alive, is basically kinda OP when you're dead. If you think about it. He has no tissue, no blood, no nothing, so he's resistant to lightning, hot and cold temperatures, and poison, because he's already dead. So you can't kill him out. So that's a good advantage to him. Sorry if I keep sniffing. It's hay fever season, and I am using the wall. He's the fastest member, because, no body tissue means nothing's weighing you down. So he's arguably the fastest member on the crew. Maybe tied with Sanji, but he is definitely one of the fastest members on the crew. Because of that, because of him just being in a skeletal form, he can just run water, which we've seen. I think a couple of times we've seen him run on water. He's got a high endurance, and then that's just like without his Devil Fruit ability. If we go into it, he could separate his soul from his body, which I don't think will be useful in a fight against Jinbe. He will just probably like break apart your bones. But he could heal his bones by drinking milk, so that is an advantage depending on the circumstance. Because of the time skip he trained and his ability for projecting coldness, like freezing surrounding area, is enhanced, which again could be useful in a fight against someone who primarily uses water-based attacks. He's a swordsman. He has great swordsmanship. He was able to keep up with Zoro. He's not on Zoro's level. Zoro's level he's top tier. Zoro is top tier right now. But Brook is just a little bit under. A little bit. With his sword called Soul Solid, he's basically a good, fighter all around. He's got several special moves. He's got the Bond Avant. It's basically when he rushes you with that ice. It's sort of like, what's that guy's name from Bleach? Toshiro? Something like that? He's got the Coup Drugged? Basically, it's just a shockwave strike, I guess it's like if Pain from Naruto uses a sword, that's basically what it would be. He always does those quick cuts where he just appears behind you and you freeze, which I thought was really cool. His swordsmanship and Devil Fruit, forgive me, he is no one to trifle with when he's serious. Looking at Jinbe now, he is no slouch. Remember that fight he had, the scrap he had with Ace, that lasted 5 days. So he has a high stamina, high pain tolerance, high endurance, because he fought for 5 days straight. And it was basically a draw. He's very wise and has great interpersonal skills. So he's able to come up with, not ultimatums, but deals and arrangements that suit both parties. Like when he brought Luffy and, what's that guy's name? The fake Capone guy. Is it Beige? I think it's Beige, whatever his name is not important. He was able to beat Big Mom's haki as well. So they had that in common. He was able to withstand Big Mom's, the Soul Fruit ability, because he did experience fair, so nothing was taken from him. He is said to be the most powerful fishman alongside Jack, but I feel like it would be up Jack, no problem. And let's see, what else could you remember the time where he's quick. Even on land, he is quick, very quick. But yeah, going back to his pain tolerance, on one of the levels in Impel Down, the baptizing in boiling water, he just took it. He didn't flinch, no nothing. Not only that, but when my man Akainu came with the magma punch, he just took it. Yeah, he was hurt, but he didn't wince, he didn't scream, he just took it. So his pain tolerance is quite high. And because he's a fisherman, when he's in water, his abilities are just through the roof. Through the roof, which we're going to discuss when we get to like the final bit. But yeah, if this battle goes into water, not only will Brook become useless because he is a devil fruit user, but Jinbe is quite strong in it. Either way, he is. I think he's like the top fishman karate user, apart from that one guy in the Revolutionary Army. But yeah, he was a child prodigy. He was doing that. And when you think about it, starting from a young age, and I think now he's in his, I want to say 40s or 50s. He's basically a master. He's basically like Kakashi in a way. Jinbe, the Kakashi of the sea. Ooh, yeah, like that. That's his nickname now. Jinbe, the Kakashi of the sea. Let's see. Yeah, with the Fishman karate, you could manipulate water. You could shoot it. You could generate from your own body. You can control it underwater. Not only that, but it teaches you defensive moves. So he blocked attacks from Big Mom, which is Big Mom will kill you. You don't mess with Big Mom. Big Mom will eat you up and then go eat something else because you're not enough. There's a great tactical mind on him. He used to be captain of his own crew, remember? So, in terms of tactical mind, he is up there, and his level of haki's been shown to be quite high. He has a number of techniques that goes with his karate, like Karagi, Rurokan, 5,000 Tao True Punch, 7,000 Tao Roundhouse, Sharp Palm Block. It's a move where he could get the water and just slam it. He is definitely someone to look out for. But after all that, just a quick summary of the abilities, the devil fruit powers, the advantages each another have. I think I might have to give this to... I'm gonna give it to Jinbe. I wanted Brook to win, but the more you look at the skills of each other, the more you see who wins and why. So Brook is quick, as I said before, but he is not that much quicker than Jinbe. Plus, when you add in Jinbe's defensive techniques, it's going to be hard for Brook to actually damage him physically. Whereas all of Jinbe's moves are powerhouse moves. They cause damage on impact. So you trying to tiptoe around him, yeah, it's going to do damage over time. But if Jinbe gets you with once, that's it. Furthermore, if you compare I think battle strategy, I think Jinbe has it more. Because not only was he captain of his own crew, he was a soldier in the army, so he learned techniques from there, and then he made his own crew. Whereas, yes, Brook was alive during Roger's time, but he wasn't really like a successful pirate. It was just made a name for himself. It wasn't like on Roger or Whitebeard or even like Big Mom's level. And so that could be argued against his tactical awareness just in comparison to Jinbe. Another thing to keep in mind is that when devil fruit users come into contact with a specific level of water, they become weakened. And if we go back to where I said this battle would take place on just an ordinary island, if Jinbe was to get his hand on enough water, that would seriously hamper Brook. Yes, Brook could run on top of water, but if that gets, onto him the right amount, that's it for him. That's it. Yes, he could freeze the water, but we don't know the full extent of him freezing water. We don't know what volume he could do it, how long he could do it for, and it's not like he can leave his body, because if he does, Jinbe will just come up and break it apart. If this was a death battle, not like Screw Attacks one, but just like they are going to do it to one of them drops, I think Jinbe will take it easily. Not easily, but he would definitely come out on top. It would be sort of similar to... who's a good comparison right now? It would be a good comparison to like early Midoriya and Bakugo. Like early Midoriya. Like it wasn't, no, not Bakugo, Todoroki. Like yes, Midoriya had the strength, but Todoroki had full knowledge of his limits and what he could do. And that could be argued for Jinbe as well. Because Jinbe knows what he can do. He knows it. He's a master of fishman karate. But he can definitely outmaneuver someone who is an expert swordsman and a devil fruit. I think the defining factor of this fight is the endurance level. Because they both can endure a lot of pain. But I just think Jinbe could go a little bit further. Just a little bit further. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If you can argue why Brook would win, and it makes logical sense, yeah, I would definitely change it. Because I want Brook to win. I don't know, there's just something about his abilities that makes sense to why he would win. But again, when you look at what Jinbe can do, and who he could keep up with in the manga and anime, it makes sense for him to win. It's not only that, but it's just, yeah. Anyway, who do you think would win in that scenario? I might need to look at Robin versus Chopper as well, because the developments in the manga has changed some things around in terms of power level and technique. But yeah, on to the next topic.